A brand new issue of DC Comics' new series Absolute Wonder Woman came out this week, and let's not beat about the bush, this series continues to be pretty damn good. To recap the story so far, in case you haven't been reading, the Absolute line of comics takes place in a different universe, one created by the new god Tetracide, where our heroes are at a disadvantage compared to their mainline counterparts. In the case of Wonder Woman, she was raised on an island in Hell, isolated from the rest of the Amazons by the god Apollo. Apollo didn't disclose why Diana needed to be kept separate from the rest of the Amazons, but he charged the witch Circe with raising her. Circe was initially disinterested, but grew to love Diana and treated her as her own daughter. Circe told Diana that she would grow up to be a powerful warrior fighting to protect the world from demons. And that's exactly what happened. Diana has emerged at Gateway City while it was under siege from the forces of Hell and the beastly Tetracide, a creature that completely destroyed its prey, mind, body and spirit, by luring them in with its seductive death cry. The Tetracide was too big for Diana to fight on her own, and in the battle she lost her magical prosthetic arm. Turns out she had sacrificed her dominant arm to save the life of Steve Trevor years ago, and now she had to get creative if she wanted to save the day. Diana cast a spell to render everyone in the city deaf. That way, they wouldn't be brainwashed by the Tetracide's cry, and that's where this issue picks up. Now, this will probably sound silly to say, but I was kind of surprised how quiet this issue was. I suppose that's funny because I had speculated that this could be a mostly silent issue with lots of action, given that everybody needed to be deaf in order to be saved from the Tetracide. But in reality, a lot is said in this issue, and the action is fairly minimal. This issue does a lot to fill in some of the backstory and introduces a number of familiar characters, while setting up the potential true threat that Diana will face. So let's kick things off by talking about the battle with the Tetracide. With everyone being deaf and not following the Tetracide's siren call, the creature heads into the city to look for victims. Diana plays a trick, casting a spell that mimics the sound of the Tetracide's victims. While it is glorious music to the Tetracide, to Diana it is the sound of failure and despair. From here, Diana makes a play straight out of Absolute Batman's playbook, casting a spell on her Athena sword to make it huge. When I say huge, I mean huge, almost like a skyscraper. And with one mighty swing, she cleaves the beast in two, killing it. I really like the symbolism here. Athena is the goddess of wisdom, among other things, and all it took to defeat this hulking, lumbering, death-dealing menace that warps the minds of anyone who listens to it is a firm dose of knowledge and truth. I like the imagery as well, with Tetracide's blue blood on the blade making the blade resemble Wonder Woman's classic red, white and blue costume. You can also say that it resembles the American flag, if you want to get political about it. It's a very nice message to share that feels completely in keeping with Wonder Woman, particularly in these unprecedented times, but they don't draw a huge amount of attention to it. Some commenters have criticised the overt politics in Absolute Batman and Absolute Superman. I don't share this view, by the way. Comics have always been political. I assume they forgot all of those Golden Age comics with Superman punching Nazis. But I have to imagine that the messaging in Absolute Wonder Woman is a bit more subtle to avoid the attention of the usual suspects that foam at the mouth whenever they remember that women exist. Now that the immediate threat is dealt with, let's talk about the introduction of more support cast members. Up first is Etta Candy and her sister Gia. These two run a shop that has some of the supplies that Wonder Woman needs for her spells. Apparently, a lot of the ingredients that she would have struggled to find in Hell are readily available here. Things like yucca root, witch's burr and valerian. In order to restore her magical prosthesis, she needs to cast a powerful spell, and there is a heavy price to pay in blood. Fortunately, the Candy sisters and Steve Trevor are willing donors. And it's quite a striking image, seeing Wonder Woman's face smeared with blood as she conjures up her new arm. You aren't likely to see the original Wonder Woman in such a state. The next significant character to make their debut is the goddess Hecate, the deity that Circe and Diana pray to in Hell. In the mainline comics, Wonder Woman usually calls upon Athena, goddess of wisdom, crafting and military victory. But Hecate is the goddess of witchcraft, magic and the night. This is a clear indication of the new Wonder Woman's change in philosophy. Hecate appears in a flashback when Diana was a young girl, and Circe expresses her anger and despair at the fact that she cares about Diana and is plagued by visions of what she will become. She also notes that she knows that Diana will move on one day, leaving her alone in Hell to wallow in despair. Hecate appears to Circe much in the same way that Apollo had when he brought Diana to the island, telling her that it's all part of the game the gods are playing. Hecate notes that the world should bend towards justice, but at every step, justice is smothered over and over again, and this cannot stand. Diana will put a stop to this. I have to assume that this is a reference to Darkseid's influence on the world. I can imagine that the pantheon of gods would resent Darkseid and would try their hardest to break out from underneath him. And it seems that both Diana and Circe have a larger role in their plans. Hecate notes that Diana's love will change Circe, even to the point that Circe will defy Hecate to defend Diana. And this is exactly why she is the right person to raise the hero they need. Despite knowing the pain that Diana will bring her in the future, Circe is determined to raise her as best she can. At this time, Circe decides to craft Diana's first lasso, Sacrifice, forged from love and pain, fire and magic. I don't think we've seen this lasso yet. Her current lasso is Nemesis, powered by revenge, but it sounds like it may play a significant part in the future. Like the mythological heroes, Diana is a pawn of the gods. Circe can see the future, and it seems like there's very little anyone can do to change this fate. Circe is doubtlessly familiar with other figures that tried to defy their fate and ended up bringing it about, like King Acrisius, grandfather of Perseus. The last recognisable character to be introduced is Veronica Cale, National Security Advisor to the President of the USA. In the mainline comics, Cale is an industrialist that is antagonistic towards Wonder Woman, sort of like her version of Lex Luthor, I suppose. And when we see her, she has the ear of the President, stating that even if Tetracide has been defeated, they have some very big problems on their hands. It's safe to assume that she's referring to Wonder Woman. Presumably she's taken issue with Diana's message of peace and cooperation from the last issue. If the everyday normal people band together, they may realise who is really responsible for their woes. Hint, it's not the undocumented migrants that clean up toilets for a living. That, and the fact that Diana clearly has the power to take out most of the army herself. Suddenly, their position of power must feel quite fragile. It'll be interesting to see how this version of Cale differs from the mainline universe. In a universe where one of the worst villains, the Joker, has been reimagined as a humorless billionaire, I wonder how she will stand out. You never know, she might not be a villain, but given that she's in a position of authority in this corrupt universe, she's not likely to be one of the good guys. Despite seemingly overcoming the world-ending threat of the Tetracide, it seems like the real battle is still ahead of Diana. We'll just have to wait and see how the story continues in the next issue. Absolute Wonder Woman 4 is available now from all good comic shops. If you're based in the UK and don't have a comic shop near you, then you might want to use my affiliate link with the UK's largest comic book retailer, Forbidden Planet. I have included a link in this video's description. Alternatively, if the idea of hoarding a collection of comic books fills you with dread, I'm getting perilously close to filling up our storage unit, you may want to try getting a digital copy of the issue from Amazon. I also have a global affiliate link which you could use to help my channel out. I've included my Amazon affiliate link in the info button in the top right corner, as well as the video's description. And just before I wrap up, special thanks to all of my current channel members who help make these videos possible. Their names are listed on screen right now. To those that have read this issue, what did you think? Were you expecting there to be more of a battle? Did the shot of Wonder Woman drenched in blood give you bad vibes? What about Veronica Cale? Share your views in the comments below. I'll be back on Friday to talk about an underrated festive classic episode of Batman the Animated Series, A Bullet for Bullock, another episode that was adapted from a comic book. Next Monday, I'm making the first video based on your responses to my Beware the Batman villain poll. We're going to be talking about Anarchy and how the show's writers took an obscure comic book character and reworked him to be Batman's opposite. And if you're only interested in comic books, next week I'll be back to talk about Absolute Superman 4. It sounds like it'll be taking place in the present day as the Lazarus Corps pursues Superman along with the mysterious Omega Men. Hope to see you then.